Right now, in your living room, a pothos that was perfectly happy drinking maybe 200 milliliters of water a week back in January can blow through 600 to 800 milliliters this week. Same plant, same pot, same windowsill, completely different organism. Because the days got longer, the light got stronger, photosynthesis ramped up, and the roots started pulling water out of that soil faster than they have since last summer. And if you're still checking your plants on the schedule you had in March, you're not being careful. You're quietly starving something that's trying its hardest to grow right now. Okay, here's the thing. There's one specific change I made a few weeks ago. Not watering, not light. Something almost nobody talks about. And within 2 weeks, my plants put out more new growth than they had in the previous 2 months combined. I'm not telling you what it is yet. We're going to get there. Because to understand why it worked, you need to understand what's actually happening inside your plant's roots right now, this week, while you're reading this. By the end of this, you'll know the one thing to stop doing immediately, the 3 things to start doing instead, and exactly how to look at a leaf and tell whether your plant is using this growing season or quietly missing it. So, summer means more light, more growth, water more often. That's what everyone already knows, right? Sure. But more often is doing a lot of hiding in that sentence. Here's what's actually happening. Longer June days mean dramatically more light energy hitting the leaf surface. More light hitting chlorophyll means photosynthesis speeds up. And photosynthesis isn't just about sugar production, it's directly tied to transpiration, the process where water moves up through the plant and evaporates out through tiny pores in the leaves called stomata. More photosynthetic activity, more open stomata, more water moving through the whole system. The roots are working overtime to keep up. Think of it like this. Your plant in June is like someone who switched from a desk job to manual labor. Same body, completely different energy and water demands. You wouldn't keep feeding that person the same lunch they ate when they were sitting at a desk all day. But that's basically what a fixed watering schedule does to a plant in summer. So here's the actual hack, and it's stupidly simple. Stop watering on a schedule. Start checking daily. Stick your finger into the top inch of soil every single day, not every Sunday. A plant that dried out every 7 to 10 days in winter might now be bone dry in 2 to 4 days. Some fast growers in bright light can shift that dramatically. And wait, there's more. Check your plant's position relative to the window too, because light intensity has shifted along with the water demand. That spot that was perfectly gentle in January? By June, with the sun higher and stronger, it can be scorching the leaves. And that slightly dim corner that felt like a compromise back then might now be exactly right. Move things around. Your plant isn't being dramatic when it droops faster than it used to. It's telling you, very clearly, that the season changed and you didn't. And that's just the watering and light side of this. What's happening underground, in the root system, is actually the part that explains everything else, including the thing I stopped doing, which we're getting to now. So, fertilizing. Most people fertilize on a fixed schedule, once a month, no matter what, because that's what the label says. That's what every plant care list says. And look, I did this for years. It felt responsible. It felt like care. Here's the wait actually moment. During peak summer growth, your plant is consuming nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the building blocks for new leaf tissue, new stems, new root mass, at a rate that a flat monthly feeding can actually undershoot. Meanwhile, in early spring or late summer, when growth naturally slows, that exact same monthly dose can overfeed a plant that doesn't need it, which is its own problem. So here's what I stopped doing. I stopped feeding by the calendar entirely. Instead, I started feeding in rhythm with what the plant was actually doing. New leaves unfurling, new stem growth pushing out. That's the signal. That's when the plant is building tissue and needs the raw materials to do it. And when I matched feeding to that actual growth rhythm instead of a date on a calendar, the difference showed up within about 2 weeks. Visibly faster new leaf production, sturdier stem growth, and leaf color that looked richer, more saturated. Almost like the plant had been quietly underfed the whole time without either of us realizing it. Which, by the way, brings up something most people never even think about during their biggest growth window: root space. If you're still here and you're already mentally rearranging your windowsill, hit subscribe to Home Plants Hacks because we go this deep every single week, and June is just the beginning of this rabbit hole. Okay, repotting. Most people think of repotting as a last resort, something you do when a plant is dying or visibly suffering. But June, with all this active growth happening, is actually the best window of the entire year to do it. Roots recover and establish in fresh soil faster right now than at almost any other point in the year. So what are you actually looking for? Ease the plant out of its pot. Are roots circling visibly around the inside edge? Are they pushing through the drainage holes? Is the soil drying out in a single day instead of several? Any one of those is your sign. And here's the biological reality of what happens if you ignore it. A root-bound plant during its biggest growth window is basically being asked to sprint with its shoelaces tied together. All that extra light, all that extra water demand, all that nutrient uptake, and nowhere for the roots to physically expand into. One important detail though, size up by one pot size, not several. Jump too big and you end up with a huge volume of soil that stays wet way longer than that smaller root system can actually use, which just invites root rot. One size up. That's it. Now, last layer, and this one's almost embarrassingly simple. Dust. A layer of dust sitting on a leaf surface is physically blocking light. Light that's now more abundant and more valuable to the plant than at almost any other time of year. So wipe the leaves down with a damp cloth, or give smaller plants a gentle, lukewarm rinse. You're not cleaning for appearances. You're removing a barrier between the plant and the exact resource it's craving most right now. And while you're down there looking at leaves, flip a few over. Check the undersides. Because here's the thing, nobody connects. The same warmth and tender new growth that's exciting for your plant is also exactly what spider mites, fungus gnats, and mealybugs are drawn to. A growth surge invites a pest surge. Catching it early on the undersides of new leaves before it spreads makes all the difference. So, before we wrap up, drop a comment and tell me which one of your plants is about to get the glow up this month, or what you've been doing all winter that you're realizing needs to change right now. Because here's where this all lands. Nothing about your plant's location changed between January and June. Same pot, same room, same light source, technically. But the plant itself is operating in a completely different gear, responding to the exact same seasonal shift that's moving through every tree outside your window. Watering by feel instead of schedule, feeding in rhythm instead of by date, giving roots room to actually use this window, clearing the dust so the plant can use every bit of light it's working so hard to capture. None of these are separate hacks. They're all the same realization, just from different angles. Your plant has been trying to tell you the season changed. The only question is whether you're finally in sync with it, or whether this time next year, you're going to wonder where this growing season went.